Magandang araw, ako po si Sir Ariel, ang ALS lover ng Edtech Unit. Narito po ako para sa isang napakagandang balita at upang magpaalala na ang kinabukasan ay mas gaganda at uunlad kung ang lahat ay patuloy na mag-aaral. Sa edukasyon sa ating bansa, tiyak na walang maiiwanan sa pag-abot ng mga pangarap. Kaya naman ang Department of Education ICT's Educational Technology Unit at Alternative Learning System Task Force ay nagtutulungan sa pagkakaroon ng ALS Tech Empowerment Program upang maihatid ang excellent quality education sa ating mga ALS learner and teachers. To easily deliver the lessons from the modules and other references, we will provide tablet PC as part of the DepEd computerization program to all ALS teachers and orientation on the use of these packages. To deepen the pedagogical use of information and communications and technology in delivering instructions, there are training workshops on the use and curation of open educational resources or OER, Google and Microsoft productivity tools, creation of video lessons using PowerPoint presentations and KineMaster, and on ebook or e-magazine development. To create an avenue for remedial lessons that is open to all learners, teachers, and parents, we will have the ETUlay free online tutorial and mobile ETUlay, where we will visit remote schools to feature the best practices of our ALS teachers and learners. Sa mga out-of-school youth and adult, laging tatandaan na may pag-asa upang makapagpatuloy sa pag-aaral. May ALS para sa inyo. Ang edukasyon ay para sa lahat. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad. Si ALS Learner JC is a proof that life offers second chances. Nagkakamali pero naitatama at patuloy tayo to dream, set our goals, work hard for it, stick to it until we reach the success and the happiness that we hope for. Ako po muli si Sir A, ang inyong ALS coach dito lang sa Alternative Learning System sa DepEd TV.
Hello po. Good afternoon to everyone po. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga sumusubaybay po sa Alternative Learning Strand po 5 for this afternoon po. Binabati ko po ang lahat ng tagapanood at taga-subaybay po ng programang pong ito. I'll be sharing my screen po. So, ako po si Tutor Gilbert po, ang inyong makakasama po for ALS Learning Strand 5, Understanding Self and Society po. So, bago po tayo magsimula for this afternoon po, yung talakayan po natin, I would like to greet SDO Les Piñas po, lalong-lalo na po sa pangunguna ng aming SDS, Dr. Joel Titor Campo, SESO 6, ang aming ASDS po, Dr. Juan C. Obierna, and ang aking Education Program Supervisor po sa Araling Panlipunan, Sir Nico Gonzalez po. Magandang hapon po. And sa supervisor po namin sa ALS po, Ma'am Rosel Sabido po. At sa lahat po ng aking mga katrabaho, mga mag-aaral at mga kasama sa DepEd SDO Las Piñas po. Magandang hapon po. So, good afternoon po, Ma'am Karen Marcelino. Magandang hapon po. Magandang hapon din po, Sir Vito Espanto po. Good afternoon din po, Ma'am Strelia Taginod Gallardo po. So, for this afternoon po, we will start our session, our discussion, third quarter po, week 1 po, with this kind of lesson po. Ang lesson po natin ay patungkol po sa kanila. So, ano kaya yung pag-uusapan natin patungkol sa kanila, patungkol sa mga bata? So, ngayong hapon na ito ay ating aalamin ano-ano ba yung mga karapatang taglay-taglay at mga responsibilidad na nakaatang sa mga bata, or what are the duties and responsibilities of every child, and at the same time their rights po. So, magandang hapon po, Ma'am Emma Cervantes from Busuanga. Wow, Busuanga Coroen. So, magandang hapon po. Let's check our understanding first before we go to our lesson or topic for this afternoon. So, tingin nyo ba, do you agree with this? Kindly comment here in the comment sections po. Kung agree kayo, do not agree, or hindi kayo sigurado, not sure. Children do not contribute anything to society. Agree po ba kayo dito? Tingin nyo po, nag-agree po ba kayo for dito sa statement na ito? Children do not contribute anything to society dahil bata pa sila, dahil maliit pa sila. Nag-agree po ba kayo? Hindi po ba, nagdi-disagree po ba kayo, or hindi kayo sigurado at all? So that's one. Children do not contribute anything to our society. Yan, may mga sumagot po, do not agree. So they do not agree to this statement. So disagree. Sabi ni Ma'am Eileen Libres, maraming salamat po sa pagtugon. So hindi nag-agree. Next, children have no rights. Yung mga bata ba walang karapatan? So sabi ni Ma'am Dani Reyes, no, may yan sa disagree din po. So sabi ni Ma'am Lynette Sata Mahait, magandang hapon po, disagree po. Okay po. Next, the kind of environment where the child grows up has an effect on his or her development. Agree po ba kayo dito na yung environment na ginagalawan ng bata ay may epekto sa kanyang paglaki? Ayan, sabi po ni Ma'am Jashel Ira Lidesma, agree po. Ayan, nag-agree po. Next, a child has no worth to the nation until he or she becomes an adult. So, again, a child has no worth to the nation until he or she becomes an adult. Ayan, sabi po kanina ni Ma'am Carmina Salcedo Lahom, nag-agree siya that environment has an effect to parang a child's development po. How about ito pong pang-apat po? Nag-agree po ba tayo dito? Nagdi-disagree po ba tayo, or hindi tayo sigurado that a child has no worth to the nation until he or she becomes an adult? Yan, sabi po, disagree. So, sabi po ni Ma'am Rosa Volante Fernandez, environment parang may epekto, have effect. Ayan, agree po. Ayan, sabi po ni Ma'am Jashel Ira Lidesma, disagree. So, nagdi-disagree po that a child has no worth to the nation until he or she becomes an adult po. Next, other social institutions such as school, church, and community should prepare the child for adult responsibilities. So, parang sinasabi dito, tama ba or nag-agree ba kayo na hindi lang ang pamilya ang dapat mag-prepare sa bata for adult responsibilities? Dapat may mga responsibilidad din ang paaralan, ang simbahan, at ang komunidad sa pagde-develop sa mga bata sa adult responsibilities. Ayan, sabi po ni Ma'am, thank you Ma'am Lidesma, napaka active po. Ayan, agree. Sabi po ni Sir Sam, S. Istoy, yes po. So, we just check your understanding about ano ba yung mga dapat taglayin ng mga bata, ano ba yung mga dapat meron sa mga bata, or ano ba yung mga dapat na bahaging ginagampanan nung iba't ibang mga tao at iba't ibang mga tao at iba't ibang mga institusyon patungkol sa bata. So, ang pag-uusapan po natin ngayong hapon, we will discuss for this afternoon po. Ayan, sabi po ni Ma'am Lynette Sata Mahit, agree dun sa number 5. Ayan po, Learning Stand 5, Understanding Self and Society. Ang pag-uusapan po natin ngayon ay children's rights. So, first, atin munang alamin Kaya hanggang kailan ba natin masasabi na ang isang tao ay bata pa? So, kailan ba natin magtutukoy na, ito bata pa to, hindi na to nag-iisip, baka naman yung iba kasi nag-iisip bata pa. So, hanggang kailan or ano yung mga, kailan natin masasabi that bahagi pa rin ito ng, kumbaga, nabibilang pa rin tayo dito sa mga karapatang i-discuss natin or itatalakay natin for this afternoon. Children's rights po. Mga ilang taon kaya, hanggang anong taon kaya yung saklaw nung pagiging bata. So baka kasi pag hindi na lumampas na dun sa edad na yun, baka hindi na siya bata at hindi na siya saklaw ng mga karapatang ito. Ayan, very good po. So ito po ay sinasabing 18 years old. So lahat ng individual, every human being from birth up until 18 years old ay may matuturing nating bata. So what will be our learning objectives for this afternoon will be one, explain the different rights of children. Second po, discuss the responsibilities of children. Third, explain the roles of different social institutions in the development of the child. So ito po yung mga tunguhin natin pagkatapos ng lesson na ito na ipapaliwanag na ng mga mag-aaral natin sa ALS ng yung iba't ibang mga karapatan, responsibilidad ng mga bata, and even ano yung bahaging ginagampanan ng lipunang kanyang ginagalawan. Even mga institusyong panlipunan na sa paghubog sa bata. So sabi po ni Ma'am Virginia Gados, below 18 years old according to UN CRC. Yan, salamat po. So nabasa na ni Ma'am yung United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, yung UNCRC. So magandang hapon po, Ma'am Leia Recto from Division of Marinduque. Ayun po. So, tuloy po tayo. Ayan. So, sabi nga po kanina ni Ma'am Virginia, ito ay according to the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Children or the UNCRC. When we do speak of child or children, a child means every human being below the age of 18 years old unless under the law applicable to the child, majority is attained earlier. So meaning to say, there are countries na anong meron, hindi exclusive na 18 lang. There are countries na nagtatakda sila ng edad kung kailan maituturing yung bata na nasakop pa rin ng children's rights. Thus, when we do speak of majority, this is the legal age. Kung kailan ang isang individual ay malaya nang makakapag-participate into political and economic, magkakaroon na siya ng political and economic participation. So, may mga bansa na mas mababa pa sa 18. Thus, kapag ganun ang nangyayari, when we do speak of that, mas mababa yung Senate na age requirement on para maituring natin sila na under yung child or bata pa sila, ang masusunod yung batas na umiiral sa kanilang bansa. So, but of course, most of the countries are following 18 years of age po. So, sabi po ni Ma'am Mercy Esther, nais lamang na ibahagi at tulungan ng lahat ng panahon. Okay po. So, Ma'am Gina, magandang hapon po. Ma'am Jonalisa, magandang hapon po. So, that's according to the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Children. So 18. But again, if there is a conflict with the existing laws sa loob ng isang bansa, ano pong meron, ang masusunod yung batas na umiiral sa isang bansa. So may mga bansa kasi na mas bata pa yung itinatakda upang they could participate, they will belong dun sa tinatawag na majority na citizen na meron sila. Okay, so when we do speak of child, it is one of the parang best asset ng isang bansa. It is one of the best asset of a country or ng isang estado. Thus, there should be a full effort in maximizing the potentials of these children. So we exerted a lot of effort in order for us to maximize the fullest potentials in order for them to develop their fullest potentials and talents po ng mga bata. So according to the UNCRC or United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, there are 4 aspects in which kung saan dito nag-ooperate or dito ginagawa ng paraan dito naka-focus yung children's rights. Number one, yan, participation by children in decisions affecting them. So ano ba yung mga halimbawa ng mga desisyon na kung saan nakakaapekto ito doon sa mga bata at dapat meron silang partisipasyon doon sa paggawa at pagbuo ng desisyon na ito. Maaari po ba kayong magbigay? Ayan, so ilan sa mga halimbawa could be yung halimbawa pagpili ng tamang kurso, hindi po ba? Lalo ngayon sa pagdating natin, di ba po ba sa senior high school program, di ba, naka-strand na ito. So, of course, isa sa mga key aspect ng United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child ay tingnan yung bigyan ng importansya yung partisipasyon ng mga bata doon sa mga desisyon na gagawin na makakaapekto sa kanila. Yan, pagpili ng tamang kurso, that's one, so, or tamang strand. Kasi at the end, anong meron, yung bata rin naman yung nahihirapan when we do speak of choosing the right strand or choosing the right career path na meron. So mahalaga na kinakausap natin itong mga anak natin, itong mga bata, na kung saan sila talaga yung haharap sa tunay na hamon ng pipiliing kurso. So, pangalawa, protection of children against discrimination. Yan, malimit po tayo nakakarinig ng mga diskriminasyon sa mga bata. Magbigay nga po kayo ng mga halimbawa ng mga discrimination na nararanasan ng mga bata. Ano kaya yung mga discrimination practices na nai-encounter ng mga bata? Thus, the UNCRC tried and really exerted a lot of effort to work to lessen and even to alleviate these kinds of discrimination to children. Meron po ba? Yan. Good afternoon po, Sir Noel Campusano. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Jonalisa Aneseta. Yan, very good. Yan. Isa sa mga halimbawa po, yung child labor po, hindi po ba? So, ilan ito sa mga discrimination na nawawala yung karapatan nila na maglaro at enjoyin yung pagkabata nila. Yan, sabi po ni Sir Cornelio, yan, bullying, madalas nakikita natin yan ngayon. So, repeated actions of yung kumbaga, pananakit, be it verbal or even physical. Sabi ni Ma'am Jonalisa, child labor po. Yan, thank you po. Sabi po ni Ma'am Arlene, child labor din po. Salamat po. So, child labor. What else aside from child labor? Ano pa kaya? Yan, very good. Yung child pornography, hindi po ba? So, malimit naririnig natin sa mga balita that there are instances or cases that those children or people belong to 18 years old and below were involved already in prostitutions. Hindi po ba? Magandang hapon po, Ma'am Maligaya from SDO Aklan po. So, that's why child pornography, prostitutions, and even child labor po. So, the UNCRC crafted the rights na meron na dapat taglayin ang mga bata and exerted a lot of effort para maiwasan ito at para masugpo itong mga suliranin na kinakaharap ng mga bata or those human beings below 18 years old and below po. Third, prevention of harm to children. Yan yung mga abuse, di po ba? So that's why there are different non-governmental organization and governmental organization na kinreate ang bawat bansa in order na para matulungan yung mga bata para maiwasan yung maranasan nila yung pananakit from abusive kumbaga practices. So halimbawa in the Philippines yung Bantay Bata, hindi po ba Bantay Bata 163. So dati meron kasing kaisipan na kapag ito ay anak ng isang individual, kumbaga anumang pananakit ay pumapaloob lamang doon sa usaping pampamilya. Subalit hindi na ganito ngayon ang pananaw. So may mga karapatang dapat taglay-taglayin ang mga bata. And last one, provisions of children's basic needs. So these are the 4 key aspects kung saan nag-ooperate ang UNCRC po. So thus, with these 4 key aspects po, of course, it gave way dun sa creation of the different rights ng mga bata. So ano-ano ba yung mga karapatan ng mga bata, yung rights of a child? So iisa-isahin po natin. So by the way po, nakalagta akong sabihin, I take full, I give full credit po sa mga pictures, larawans na ginamit ko. Una po sa open resources po ng Canva, sa materials provided ng ALS po. Ayun po. And even yung mga pictures po na ginamit ko for this presentation. Okay, so number 1, every child has the right to be born well. So isa yan sa mga basic or isa yan sa mga unang mga karapatan na dapat taglay-taglayin ng bata. Whether the child is unborn yet, so ano na yung mga karapatan na meron siya, of course, bigyan siya ng proper medication habang hindi pa siya naipapanganak. So yan yung isa sa mga karapatan na taglay-taglay ng bata. Yan, sabi po ni Ma'am Jonalisa Anaceta, right to live. Yan, tama po. Pinaiksi natin. So, it's right to live po. So, bago ipanganak, kapag ipinanganak na siya at habang lumalaki na siya, so up until, di ba, early childhood po. So, every child has the right to be born well. So, sabi nga ni Ma'am Anaceta, right to live. So, very good po. So, next po. Pangalawa po, every child has the right to a wholesome family life. So when we do speak of wholesome family life, ano pong ibig sabihin kaya nito? When we do speak of wholesome family life, ano kayang ibig sabihin nito? Ayan, so when we do speak of wholesome family life po, ito po ay tumutugon sa, yan, yung sa kung paano pinapalaki ang bata. Hindi po ba yan? Sabi ni Ma'am Perdy Collation kanina, right to live. Tama po. So, yan. So, when we do speak of every child has the right to a wholesome family life, so ito po ay tumutugon sa kung paano natin pinapalaki ang bata. So, every family or lahat ng family or our parents has the full responsibility of raising as well yung mga bata. Of course, sila ang may it is their responsibility to teach us moral, di ba po, yung values na dapat na taglay-taglay natin, yung mga responsibilities na dapat ituro sa atin. So when we do speak of wholesome family, our family should be a loving family, so that dahil nga sinasabi na ang mga magulang natin at ang tahanan natin ang una nating paaralan at una nating mga magulang. So our parents must teach us ethical values po and even morals kung habang lumalaki tayo. So when we do speak of this one, the second right, every child has the right to a wholesome family life. Ayan, parents are our first guardians and our first educators. So as it is their duty to teach us the right values po, or right morals na dapat nating taglayin habang lumalaki tayo. So that's why. Number 3 po. So when we do speak of number 3, every child has the right to be raised well. Ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Jonalisa, karapatang mabigyan ng edukasyon, ibigay ang kanilang pangailangan po. Tama po. So, mababanggit po yun dito mamaya. So, when we do speak of this third right, every child has the right to be raised well and become contributing members of the society. Our guardians shapes our personalities dahil nga dito nga tayo unang natututo, we'll learn morals, we'll learn value system. Anong meron, isa sa mga gampanin din ng ating mga magulang ay turuan tayo at i-shape yung personalities natin on how we can really contribute sa society or sa lipunang ginagalawan natin. Thus, lahat ng mga bata ay may karapatan na palakihin ng tama at maging mabuting miyembro at mabuting bahagi ng lipunang kanyang ginagalawan. So this is the third right. Every child has the right to be raised well and become contributing members of the society. Fourth, every child has the right to basic needs. So when we do speak of basic needs, ano-ano po ba yung mga basic needs ng bata? When we do speak of basic needs, ano-ano po ba yung mga basic needs ng mga bata? Ayan. So when we do speak of basic needs, as provided in law, ito yung balanced diet. So dapat nakakakain sila ng maayos. Ano pa kaya? Di ba doon sa Abraham Maslow, parang kay hierarchy of needs ni Abraham Maslow, ano ba yung when we do speak of physiological needs? So yan. So balanced diet, nakakain sila ng tama. What else? Clothing. Tama. So clothing, yung damit nila. Of course, shelter and even proper healthcare. So lahat ng bata ay may karapatan na magkaroon ng masustentuhan yung basic needs na meron sila. Yan, sabi po ni Ma'am Jane Lau, food ay isa sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan ng bata. Yan, yung balanced diet. So when we do speak of the fourth right ng, or children's right, every child has the right to basic needs. Yan po. Next. Every child has the right to access what they need to have a good life. So this is the fifth right. Every child has the right to access what they need to have a good life. So right after we nabigyan natin, natugunan natin yung basic needs ng bata. When we do speak of this right, it goes beyond the basic needs. This right focus on the atmosphere or even dun sa lugar kung saan lumalaki yung bata. So, when we do speak of this right, karapatan ng bata, it is always the right of the child to attend his or her needs ng mga magulang na meron siya or yung mga taong mga kapatid niya na meron siya. Bakit mahalaga na na-attend yung needs nila so that every children will feel or every child will feel na anong meron, there is always a support system na meron sila. So, madadala nila ito hanggang sa paglaki nila. So, children needs always to feel secure, may support system in order for these children na anong meron to build and even strengthen their parang sense of confidence and even character na mas kakailanganin nila habang sa paglaki nila. So, that's one. Next. Every child has the right to education. Ayan, ito po yung sinasabi kanina po. So, when we do speak of the child, right to education. So, yan, sabi po ni Ma'am Jane Lau, protect them. Tama po. So, yun dun yung sa nauna, hindi po ba? So, every child has the right to education. So, when we do speak of right to education, it is always the right of the child or every child na magkaroon sila ng maayos na education. So, thus, it is the responsibility of the family as the first social institution, even the government, to provide quality access to education po or access to quality education po. Di ba po, in the Philippines, anong meron? May free public kumbaga, primary education ang bata, primary and even secondary education. Pagdating naman sa tertiary, there will be scholarship, grants, and even state college and universities or state universities and college, yung mga SUCs, na kung saan pwedeng mag-aral yung bata. So, habang lumalaki siya. So, but of course, yung 18 siguro, ma-acquire na yun hanggang sa senior high. So, when we do speak of this one, so every child has the right to education. Next. Every child has the right to play and enjoy their youth. So ito yung tumutugon kanina doon sa issue sa discrimination of yung child labor, sa usapin ng child labor. So ano yung nawawala sa bata kapag gumagawa na siya ng extensive manual labor? So nawawala sa kanya yung karapatan niyang maglaro at enjoyin yung pagkabata niya, yung pagiging musmus na meron siya. So every child has the right to play and enjoy their youth. So this one po. So ang lahat ng bata ay may karapatang enjoyin or magkaroon ng recreational activities on whatever they wish to do. And of course, enjoy their youth. So when we do speak of this right po. Next, every child has the right to be protected from danger. So when we do speak of this right, every child has the right. Ayan, sabi thank you po, Ma'am Jane Lau. Sabi po ni Ma'am Jane Lau, freedom. So, lahat po ng bata ay may karapatan na maprotektahan at mapangalagaan laban sa masasama. So, when we do speak of this one, it is really important to protect the child from dun sa mga bagay that could affect yung mental that could affect their mental states, physical states, and even emotional states. So just halimbawa, removing them from dangerous situation, preventing them from accidents, or even protecting them from abusive adults. So it is really the right of the child to be protected from danger. Good afternoon po, Ma'am Lalaine Cruz from Pasig City. So that's one. Next, every child has the right to live in a productive environment. So when we do speak of this right, medyo ito po ay mas malawak na yung saklaw. Dito involved na ang lipunang kanyang ginagalawan or yung community na kanyang ginagalawan. So when we do speak of this right, the community may responsibilidad. The community has the responsibility or yung lipunan ay may responsibilidad to provide safe communities or safe environment that would inspire them, halimbawa, to develop their skills and later on to give back yung service sa lipunang kanyang ginagalawan din, specifically halimbawa sa mga matatanda. So this right, every child has the right to live in a productive environment. We need to inspire children or our youth to become productive citizens, and at the same time, sabi nga po ni Ma'am Jean Lau, give them moral values po so that later on they will give back kung ano yung mga bagay na natutunan nila sa lipunan kanilang ginagalawan. Next, every child has the right to receive protection. So medyo pang-sampu na po ito. Every child has the right to receive protection and assistance from the government. If and only if the guardians or yung parent failed to failed to provide the basic needs of the child, anong meron, the government will provide or the state will provide custody or providing them providing the children fundamental needs that are necessary for the growth and development ng mga bata or ng bata. So this one, it is of course it is the responsibility of the government to offer help to these children. Yan. So pang-11 po, every child has the right to good governance. Ano po kayang ibig sabihin nito when we do speak of good governance po? Kailangan ba nilang bumoto? Of course, they are below or under 18, so hindi pa sila makakaboto. So when we do speak of this. So this right, 11th right, every child has the right to good governance. It is the right of every child na anong meron, the government needs to guarantee or good governance in order for parang mag-set ng example ito sa mga bata. So hindi naman necessary na kailangan nilang bumoto at mag-participate when we do speak of good governance. It is the right of every child na magkaroon at mamulat doon sa good governance. na meron ang pamahalaan at ang gobyerno natin, so that this would inspire them to become active and productive citizen ng ating bansa. So, kapag namulat sila at lumaki sila sa ganitong uri ng pamahalaan, yung good governance, of course, they would aspire that to work also in those key political positions. That would also inspire other youths or youth na mag-contribute sa isang bansa. So, the 11th right is every child has the right to good governance. And last one will be every child has the right to freedom and peace. So when we do speak of peace, lahat ng bata ay entitled to do whatever they wish to do sa buhay nila, provided that the things that they will do can contribute to peace and betterment of community or even society. So, of course, hindi naman ibig lahat when we do speak of right, our right ends when kung saan nagsisimula na yung right ng ibang tao. So, hindi, of course, yung pag sinabi natin karapatang manuntok, yung freedom na meron yung bata, yung right ng bata na yon to swing his or her hands, and kung saan magsisimula yung karapatan ng isang bata kung may tatamaan siya. So, of course, there should be an added responsibility when we do speak of this right. So, these are the 12 basic rights as provided in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Children. So, yun. So, sige nga po, let's have a quick recap. Ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Jing lang, freedom to play. Yun po. So, let's see what you've learned. I have 4 pictures here. All you need to identify, all you need to do is to analyze the picture, then identify ano kaya yung right na dinedescribe doon. So, di ba, we have right to play, right to live, right to education, so right to good governance. So, let's try. Itong picture na to, ano po kayang gustong ipahiwatig nito when we do speak of this one? Yan, very good po. So, this picture pertains to, yan, right to proper birth or right to live. Ayan. So, when we do speak of this picture, ayan, right to proper birth. Next, ito po. Ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Arlene Castillo Manese, right to have a good life. Ayan, thank you po. Very good po. So, ito po kayang sunod na picture, yung picture number 2. Ayan po. Yan, nagbabasa. nagbabasa yung bata. Ano po kaya yung right na minamanifest niyan? As what discussed dun sa 12 basic rights. Ano po kaya yan? Ayan, very good po. So when we do speak of this right, this is yan, right to education. Ayan, tama po. Very good po. So, yan, tama po ulit. Thank you, Ma'am Arlene Castillo Manese. Right to education. Sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau, yan, right to education. Thank you po. Next. Right to education. Ito po. Next. Ito po ang pangatlong picture kaya. Ano po kaya ito? Ano kayang picture? And sabi ni Ma'am Jonalisa Anaceta, right to education. Thank you po. Yung kanina. How about this picture? May batang kumakain. And sabi ni Ma'am Laline Cruz, magkaroon ng sapat na edukasyon. Sabi ni Sir Rolando Dose, right to education. How about, again, this picture? Ano po kaya ito? Yan, very good po. So when we do speak of this picture, this is referring to, sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau, right? Yan, food, right to basic needs. Di ba? So ano nga yung apat na yung kasama dun sa basic needs? Balanced diet, yan po yung food, ano pa kaya? Shelter, clothing, hindi po ba? And of course, healthcare. So yan, sabi ni Ma'am Jonalisa Anaceta, right to have a balanced diet. Thank you po. Basic needs. Last picture. Ito po kaya. Ano po kaya ang pinapakita nito? Anong right yung ipinapakita dito sa picture na to. Ayan, so very good. So when we do speak of this one, ano po ito? Ito ay tumutugon sa, yan, very good po. Right to basic playing. So actually, right to play. So it's an error. So right to play or right to recreation, di ba po? So ayan, sabi ni Ma'am Arlene Castillo po, right to play, or sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau, freedom to play. Thank you po for participating this afternoon po. So after we discussed the rights of the child, of course, in every right, sabi nga nung quote ni Spidey, ni Spider-Man, di ba? With great power comes with great responsibility. So, of course, may mga responsibility or responsibilidad na nakaatang sa lahat ng karapatang meron ang mga bata. So, yan, sabi kanina ni Sir Rolando Doce, right to play. So, what are the responsibilities of a child aside from the rights na meron siya? So, this is our school's icon, Gian and Julian. So, kasama natin sila. Karapatan laban sa malupit na parusa, sabi ni Ma'am Laling Cruz. So, one, what are the responsibilities of a child? Yan, of course, it's very imperative. So when we do speak of the responsibilities of a child, the child needs to respect his or her elders, customs, and traditions, and laws of his or her country. So ito ay responsibilidad ng lahat ng bata na igalang yung mga nakakatanda, yung mga magulang, mga nakakatandang kapatid, hindi ba, yung mga ate at kuya. So parang, di ba, doon sa mga nadaanan yung Asian history, di ba, yung filial piety ni Confucius ay pumapasok dito. We need also to respect the customs and traditions ng ating lipunan, and even lalo po yung mga batas na umiiral sa ating bansa upang maging tayo ay responsableng mamamayan. Yan, sabi po ni Ma'am Jonalisa, respect parents, very good po. Sa ibang bansa nga po, ano yung ginagawa, di ba? May dalawa silang uri ng lengguwahe. Halimbawa, sa South Korea, hindi po ba? So when you're speaking with a younger person, you tend to shortcut words, di ba? Parang anyong, di ba? But when someone is speaking to an elder, mas matanda, medyo yon mas kompleto at mahaba yung salita, di ba? Instead of anyong sayo. So there are words na they have systems of language na nagbibigay symbol or nagpapatunay that there is a parang rendering of respect. So responsibility to listen and respect, sabi po ni Ma'am Jean Lau. Ayan po. So this is the first one. Responsibility ng mga bata. Okay, second, participate actively in civic affairs. So this is the second responsibility of a child, to participate actively in civic affairs. So school, paano natin nakikita ito that they tend to participate? I'm hoping that though our students, sana hindi sila napipilitan to attend flag ceremony. So I hope na they actively participate in flag ceremonies and even kumbaga, commemorating the deeds and even the actions of those na nauna pa sa atin, specifically our national heroes. And of course, yung involvement natin to answer different social problems. Like halimbawa, when we have our big problem of global warming, I hope we participate. Our children participate halimbawa sa mga activities like tree planting, of course, yung mga pagre-recycle ng mga bagay in order for us to somehow contribute doon sa mga social, environmental problems na nararanasan ng ating lipunan and even ng bansa at ng buong mundo. So this is the second responsibility of the children. Third, help in promoting cooperation among nations for world peace and prosperity. So paano pa kaya ito ginagawa ng bata? When we do speak of promoting cooperation among nations for world peace and prosperity, paano natin napapakita na yung mga bata, nagpapakita sila or nagmamanifest sila ng pagpopromote doon sa pagtutulungan, world peace, and even prosperity. Ayan, very good po. So when we do speak of this responsibility, one, of course, isa sa mga manifestation, if we can respect the rights and yung rights and even the traditions and even the beliefs of his or her classmates. So dito pumapasok yung idea ng ano po, tolerance, hindi po ba? So that we have differences, 'di ba? Pagpasok naman talaga natin sa classroom, isa sa mga given reality na meron sa atin ay anong meron? Hindi lahat ng bata iisa yung pinanggalingan. So definitely malaki yung pagkakaiba-iba ng mga bata. So tolerance is an example or a manifestation na nagpa-promote ng cooperation ng iba't ibang kultura, iba't ibang halimbawa nasyon, or iba't ibang mga individual that could generally promote world peace and could be prosperity. So that's the third. And fourth, responsibility of each child ay ano po, develop his or her potential for service to the nation by getting an education. So this is the primary responsibility of every child. Na anong meron? Of course, mag-aral. So in order in the future to contribute saan sa bansa at sa lipunan kanyang ginagalaw, and even to a wider scope sa mundo. So these are, yan, sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau, like religion. So yan, yung magkakaibang religion po, yung kanina sa number 3. Tama po. So this one, it is, yung fourth ay to get a good education and later on to become an active participant doon sa nation building na meron tayo. Okay, so yun po. So we're done already with the second part, and that is the responsibilities of every child. Now we go now to the role of the society in the development of the child. So when we do speak of the role of the society in the development of the child, since every child is a social being, of course there are different social institutions like family na makakaapekto doon sa paglaki at sa pagdevelop ng bata. So kaya nga kanina doon sa checking our understanding, of course, hindi lang pamilya yung nakakaapekto ng malaki doon sa paghubog sa mga bata. So ano-ano ba yung mga halimbawa ng mga social institutions na ito? Maaari po ba kayong magbigay ng mga halimbawa? Aside from family, ano-ano pa kaya? If you can still remember yung nabanggit kanina. Ano-ano pa kaya yung mga social institutions na pwedeng makaapekto at makapag-contribute sa kung paano lalaki at paano mag-develop ang bata. So, in terms of developing his or her perspective, developing his or her, kumbaga, well-being, ano-ano kaya yung mga social institutions na yun? Ayan, very good po. So, there are some social institutions like school. Very good po. So, school. So aside from school, ano pa kaya? Bukod po kaya sa school, meron pa po ba? Ayan. So, Jonalisa Anaceta, sabi po, DSWD, yan, yung mga government organizations po. Aside from that po, school, yan, very good po. Emerging social institution po ito, sabi ni, yung binanggit ni Ma'am Jane Lau, yung mass media. So, it turned out to be an emerging social institution. So, yung mass, specifically the social media, yung school, ano pa kaya? Yan, sabi ni Ma'am Arlene, media, meron pa kaya? Yan, kasi kung ano yung napapanood, ano yung nababasa, diba? Somehow, it can contribute to the development of the child. So, yan, very good po, Ma'am Jenny. Makatugal, church, tama po, yung simbahan. So, church or different religious institutions are also part of the social institution. And at the same time, ano pa kaya? Sabi ni Ma'am Sonia Cueto, church. Ano pa kaya? Yan, government. Very good po. So, there are some social institutions na nabanggit po kayo. Yan, pamilya, yung family, the school, yung education, church as a religious institution, government, and at the same time, yung kanina, yung emerging social institution, which is the media, ay malaki yung bahaging ginagampanan nila sa paghubog ng mga bata. So, of course, balikan natin muna, family. So when we do speak of family, paano nakaka-apekto ang pamilya? Of course, the family will provide affection, companionship, and even understanding. So this is how family can contribute to the dun sa development ng bata. So it's really important that family members need to provide affection, companionship, and even understanding sa bata. In that way, parang sinasabi nga ni Eric Erikson, when we isang psychologist who developed the psychosocial theory, children tend to develop when they were given affection, companionship, and even understanding. They tend to develop social characteristics instead of social failure. So dito nakakatulong ito ng malaki sa paghubog sa character ng bata. Next, provide support and moral guidance. So it is really the responsibility of the families to discipline yung mga bata, 'di ba? Provide moral guidance. Yan, tayo yung magga-guide. So 'di ba kaya nga parang laging kasabihan kung ano yung puno, siya yung bunga, hindi po ba? So dahil nga kadalasan kung paano natin pinalalaki yung mga bata, anong meron dito natin nakikita kung ano yung means ng pagpapalaki doon sa bata. Yan, sabi ni Ma'am Laling, government, because some youth engage in sangguniang kabataan projects. Very good po yung kanina po. Okay. Third, supervise the activities and recreation of their children. Yan. So, it is really important to supervise. Alamin natin kung ano yung nilalaro nila. Of course, di ba? Ano yung pinapanood nila. At ano yung ginagawa ng mga bata. So, for us, yung family members, specifically the elders, yung nanay, yung tatay, yung mga ate at yung kuya, in order for us to really guide yung children or yung child sa habang lumalaki siya. So, next, encourage children to participate in civic activities. Yan, very good po. So, when we do speak of family, it is really important that we, yung parents, need to encourage children to participate in civic activities. So sa pamilya, una nagsisimula yung courage to participate in different civic activities. And last one, always set a good example. So ito yung mga dapat gawin nung family in order to contribute in the holistic development ng bata. Yan, sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau, teach them moral values. Yan, very good po. So, always we need to set good example kasi lalo yung mga bata, yung nasa mas murang edad, mga 5 years old pababa, di ba? They are shock absorbers. So, kung ano yung ginagawa ng magulang, sometimes they tend to imitate it. Even when they are learning language, di ba? Yung pagsasalita nila. Kung ano yung kadalasan nilang naririnig, ayun yung ilan sa mga una nilang natututunan. So we need to always set a good example. Next, school. So ano naman kaya yung mga dapat gawin ng school in order para makapag-contribute doon sa holistic development ng bata? One, of course, all schools must be inclusive to all types of learners. So when we do speak of inclusive, lahat, of course, di ba? And teach them love, sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau. So we need to be inclusive. Lahat ay kasama. So wala tayo sanang tatanggihan regardless of physical attributes, regardless of religion, so regardless of gender. So the school should have an inclusive atmosphere for learning environment. Yan, practice what you preach. Yung kanina, set a good example dun sa family. Thank you po, Ma'am Jenny Makatugal. So, school, again, inclusive to all types of learners. Next, the school need to provide a child-friendly environment. So, hindi dapat nakakatakot yung school. So, sabi nga, the school needs to have a child-friendly environment by means of have an atmosphere na nag-i-invite sa mga bata na pumasok. Of course, by means of having an approachable teachers, di ba? So, or having approachable teachers, yung mga bata ay nakakaapekto din sa pagkakaroon ng child-friendly environment. Third, provide facilities that will develop and unleash the child's fullest potentials. So of course, the school must provide opportunities for them to unleash and even develop in fullest potential. That's why anong meron sa mga school, di ba hindi lang puro ACADS. Yan. So anong meron, meron ding extracurricular activities. And of course, sabi nga ni Ma'am Lali, maprotektahan pa rin sila in all kinds of discriminations. So, pang-apat, provide a learning environment that is free from dangers and ensure the safety of the children. Yan yung sinasabi kanina ni Ma'am Laline Cruz na karapatan nilang maprotektahan sa diskriminasyon. Sabi ni Ma'am Jane Lau, teach them how to cooperate. Yan. So, in all tasks. So, since the school, parang isa ito sa mga pinakamahabang social institution na kung saan naglalagi ang mga bata, di ba? Simula ng 5 years old na mag-aral ito from kinder, matatapos ito kung ilan yung taon niyang kurso sa kolehiyo. So, napakatagal na ng iginugol na panahon ng bata sa pag-aaral. So, sana ang mga paaralan ay magkaroon ng ganitong mga katangian. Last one, yung community. So, isayin na lang natin yung social institution like church, like government. So, when we do speak of community, anong meron sa kanya? Sana the community organize activities for the cultivation of interest of the children. Yan, kanina binanggit po ito. Yan, tama po na need mahubog ang kanilang talento. Yes, ma'am. Salamat po, Ma'am Laling. Kanina nabanggit din kanina sa ating mga viewers na anong meron, they participated in sangguniang kabataan na activities. So, di ba, the SK provided us some programs that will enrich and cultivate yung interest ng bata. Halimbawa, yung mga palaro every summer. So, but eventually, of course, hindi yan pwede ngayon dahil sa panahon ng pandemya. Support parent education program. So, our community must also develop programs na mag-support or susuporta or even susuporta sa mga parent sa tamang pagpapalaki sa kanilang mga anak. So, sana nagpo-provide ang ating mga komunidad ng mga seminars, ng mga forums tungkol sa kung paano natin pinapalaki ng tama ang mga bata or ang ating mga anak. Health institutions of learning. So, tulungan din, isa sa mga gampanin ng komunidad ay tulungan yung mga institutions of learning like eskwelahan. So, dito pumapasok yung anong meron, yung brigada, di ba? So, yung brigada eskwela, so that's actually a program of DepEd in which they are parang having a tie-up with different stakeholders, specifically the community, kung saan nakatayo yung school, hindi po ba? So, para matulungan yung mga institutions of learning to parang magkaroon ng maayos na access doon sa kanilang mga ma-provide yung mga objectives na meron ang mga schools. And last one, of course, assist the government in fighting juvenile crimes and rehabilitate young law breakers. So, ito yung sa community, of course, itinatama natin yung mga bata na napunta sa maling landas. So, of course, we should not be, kumbaga, vindictive sa mga bagay na nagawa na mali ng mga bata. So, for such crimes, yung mga juvenile crimes, nagkaroon ng pagkakamali yung bata, itama natin, i-rehabilitate natin yung mga bata instead of anong meron. Sana, wala na. Kumbaga, binigyan na natin kaagad ng sentensya yung bata. So, since they are still considered as child, anong meron, we allow them to correct their mistakes by means of rehabilitating them. So, at para bumalik doon sa tamang landas. Ayun po. So, these are some of the roles of the social institutions like family, school, and even community na anong meron para sa paghubog ng development ng bata. So, balik tayo. So, kanina may pictures. Ngayon naman po, ano po yung gagawin ninyo? May ibibigay akong role. Ang gagawin po ninyo, tutukuyin nyo kung ito po ba ay sa school, role ng school, role ng family, or role ng community. So number 1. So this one, support parent education programs. Support parent education program. Ano po ito? Role ba ito ng family? Role ba ito ng school? Or role ba ito ng community? Again, support parent education programs. Ayan, very good po. So when we do speak of supporting parent education program, ito po ay tumutugon sa community po. Very good po. So support parent education programs, community. Next, provide support and moral guidance. Again, provide support and moral guidance to children. Yan. Sabi po ni Ma'am Sonia Amparo Cueto, family. Tingnan natin, very good, family. So, tama po. Sabi po ni Ma'am Jane Lau, family. So, that's one. Next, provide affection. And sabi po kanina ni Ma'am Christine Joy Belen, family. Sabi ni Ma'am Lailani Cruz, pala, family. Provide affection, companionship, and understanding. Ano naman po ito? Provide affection, companionship, and understanding. Ayan, very good po. So, family ulit. So, this one. So, provide affection, companionship, and understanding. Yun po. Next, provide facilities that will develop child's fullest potential. And sabi po ni Ma'am Ada Binuya, family yung kanina. Provide facilities that will develop child's fullest potential. Ano naman po ito? Ayan. So, sabi po ni Ma'am Sonia Cueto, school, very good. School po. Sabi po ni Ma'am Lailani, school po. So, ayun po. So, yan, very good po. So, I would like to end this presentation by means of ending it with a quote na anong meron, our youth may only comprise 20% of our total population of this day. But remember that they will definitely constitute 100% of our future. So, kaya po, we need to guide them, we need to develop them in order for them to become productive citizens of our country, our community, our country, and at the same time can contribute well and be responsible citizen of the world po. So, muli po, ako po si Teacher Gilbert po, or si Tutor Gilbert po, ang inyo pong kasama sa Alternative Learning Strand or ALS, Alternative Learning System, Learning Strand 5, Understanding Self and Society po, every Thursday po. So that ends my discussion for this afternoon po. Maraming salamat po. Huwag po kayong aalis, abangan nyo po si Tutor Ariel or si Sir A po, ang susunod po na magtuturo po ng digital citizenship po. Maraming salamat po.
Si ALS Learner JC is a proof that life offers second chances. Nagkakamali pero naitatama at patuloy tayo to dream, set our goals, work hard for it, stick to it until we reach the success and the happiness that we hope for. Ako po muli si Sir A, ang inyong ALS coach dito lang sa Alternative Learning System sa DepEd TV.